We are in London, in Westminster, in front of the Parliament, of the British Parliament, with Ankit Love, One Love Party. You are running for a seat here in the British Parliament. What's your program? Because it will be very different, as you promise, from the programs of other parties. Especially, your focus is on the environment.
That's right. My focus is on air pollution, the air pollution pandemic that's killing 200,000 people in this country by 2021. 40,000 British people die each year. It's killing more people than Hitler did in World War II, when we had 67,200 civilian casualties.
And more than terrorism, you said?
This is far worse than terrorism, both in this country. We've only lost a few people in Syria, British troops. It's very sad. But we are losing more people in Britain, on our own shores, than ever before from this.
What do you propose? How to reduce, to slash pollution?
Well, I suggest that the Prime Minister follows the law, simply because the Supreme Court in April 2015 gave a judgment, quote unquote, that the government should be in no doubt for the need of immediate action on air pollution. Supreme Court saying this, not me. We have a law called the Civil Contingencies Act of 2004, the most important law in this country. Do you know it? Well, the Prime Minister must follow this and make emergency legislation to ban all fossil fuel combustion vehicles, to convert all coal power stations to renewable, to convert airplanes to hydrogen. Now, before you think I'm crazy, it can be done because it costs our economy in Europe $1.6 trillion a year, according to the World Health Organization. And here in Britain, it costs the economy $54 billion a year. This is the blame for austerity. We can make everything clean, green, and renewable. We don't have to send our troops to the Middle East to fight for oil, to bring the same oil back as a poison that's killing us and giving our children mental sickness. Yes, it gives our children autism and schizophrenia. What will you tell your grandchildren why your son has autism? Because he didn't do anything about air pollution. We must act now.
But critics will say that such radical measures will affect economy, business.
Well, these critics are traitors, because that's a lie. Clearly, it costs our economy $54 billion a year. It only costs $10 billion a year to send everyone to university for free. This austerity can be blamed on this madness. These people are mad. Is it not right? The first rule of governance is defense of the realm. We must save British lives. 40,000 British will die each year. Our kids are getting schizophrenia. Is money more important than this? Well, this money has failed because this economy does not work. This market system does not truly measure the cost. What is the cost of life? Nothing. And the fact you are paying with your taxpayer money for all this in healthcare, you are paying with your taxpayer money for this $54 billion. It's costing you. So we can't give housing, we can't give education. This is ridiculous. This is only to defend the people who own oil companies, who own car companies. Well, you know what? I have a plan to bail them all out. I understand. They have jobs too. With my new monetary policy, like we bailed out the banks, we'll bail out the failed energy companies, because that is our duty, and we'll improve our economy. We'll have more growth, and they will keep their jobs, because they can have the hydrogen racket next. They can have the electric car racket. We will give them loans through a government-made insurance company under the Civil Contingencies Act of 2004, under a new kind of derivative contract, a new kind of monetary policy to bail them all out.
Let's talk about renewable energy. Which sources are the best?
For me, hydrogen is the most superior source. I'm also a big fan of electric, but with electric we have to have lithium batteries. And the problem with lithium is, well, it appears the biggest lithium deposits are in Bolivia and, according to a new Pentagon report, in Afghanistan. So we know where we got stuck in oil with that. We must keep the electric car revolution going. This is very important. But hydrogen, the only emission is water. It's clean. We can have hydrogen fuel stations. We can have power stations from hydrogen. NASA has been using hydrogen fuel in spacecraft for decades. This is a tried and tested technology. We must use hydrogen. We can convert all 8,455 petrol stations in this country to hydrogen at £1 million each. That's about £6 billion. And already Toyota makes a hydrogen car, the Toyota Miari, which gives 67 miles per gallon equivalent, and you can feel it the same way. Shipping can be run on a combination of hydrogen and solar. I'm a big fan of solar too. It's a shame that the UK is so slow on adoption of solar. We can convert all these power stations. I did a calculation in the Drax power station in northern England. This put so much coal in the atmosphere. It has 4,000 megawatts of energy generates. there's enough land around it to put enough solar panels. And we have already the infrastructure to deliver it. If the government lent money to this power station, told them, your power station is pumping toxic gas in the air, you now put these solar panels, we have the technology, we have the money. It's costing us. Why don't we do it now?
You're wearing an amazing fur, but is it natural or artificial?
No, this is synthetic. This is where chemicals should be, but not in the air. It's synthetic, of course.
It's not coming from an animal.
No, the only animal it comes from is the earth itself, how those chemicals came out. And yeah, I'm a big proponent of synthetic use of both this and also the new developments in synthetic lab-made food to synthetic lab-made leather as well. I don't know if you're aware of new developments in fashion. They can actually create animal cells in a laboratory now to make synthetic leather.
Also about medical experiment.
Absolutely. They can now create organs like this as well. There's a beautiful future that we can move into together to apply all this technology, this biotechnology, the growth of organs to replace them in your loved ones so they don't have to wait for transplants, you know? If we get organized, my political party, the One Love Party, is a techno-progressive political party. So we understand technology, both the threats and the values and the beauty that it can bring for our people. So let's get together, let's unite worldwide and create a new technocratic revolution where we can save lives, where we can improve the health conditions of our people, where we can use technology to end housing, to understand ourselves better and the word of God and our Creator better as well through this. Let's go on this journey together, come on.
Now the world is still crying for the tragedy of Orlando, a tragedy which exposed hate, a terrible, also new form of hate against the homosexual, against the gays. In this case, is a person who has a not European, not Western background, but he acted in the United States. So how can we face this, the old and new forms of hate?
I think this is absolutely shocking. It hurts me so much when I see this happen. This is not Islam. Let me tell you, I am both a man of American values and a man of Kashmiri values. And I come from a place where we have a Sunni majority kingdom. We have a Shia majority kingdom in Jammu and Kashmir. So for me, this is not the word of Allah, first of all. These are madmen. These people are crazy because Allah is forgiving. And they have to understand that. And how dare they slaughter the beautiful children of God in their beliefs? That is not their judgment. They are not judges. They are not prophets. Only the judgment of life is with God. So you don't start it. I think it's disgusting that these beautiful people who are just celebrating life, they are what they are. That is not your duty to judge them. And I think this is sickening what is happening. It makes my blood boil. If I could get these mental people and teach them a lesson, I would, because I come from a place where we have real values, a place where this is not Islam and these guys must be stopped at all costs.
And you are also working for the reunification of India and Pakistan, which were part of the British Empire. Now we are just near the statue of Winston Churchill. What's your mind about the legacy of Churchill and the division of these two countries?
Well, Churchill, like any great man, had his flaws. But first, let me point out that Churchill was not elected Prime Minister. He was appointed in a time of crisis when we were losing a lot of British lives, like in air pollution we are today. So perhaps you appoint a Prime Minister to deal with the crisis if our current Prime Minister can't. He was not elected. That's what we do in this country. That's our democracy. Let me further continue that Churchill made a mistake with the famines that occurred in India during World War II and around this time. He made some mistakes there. This is Britain's time to remedy it with the One Love Party. A British political party wants to end this false partition of this area, a place where it has left my home state in a perpetual state of war, a partition that has promoted Islamic terrorism in this region for so long. My policy of reuniting it from here in London, from where the problem started, remedies Britain and stops the chance of a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. That the Nobel Peace Prize winning body, the International Physicians Against Nuclear War, they said that it would end human civilization, would kill 2 billion people. This is Britain's responsibility to stop this heinous potential of nuclear war, people. There's nothing bigger than this on earth. Everything will change if this happens, and they're very close to this. In 2002, 1 million soldiers lined up against each other in my state of Jammu and Kashmir, and almost it went nuclear because Pakistan does not have a non-first strike policy, you see. And there are about 400 nuclear warheads here. It's not Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They're much more potent. This will destroy everything. We must work towards our unification, but a smart one, like how we have in the European Union, which we must stay in, of course. We must encourage this kind of activity there, where the sovereign states of Jammu and Kashmir, of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, even Sri Lanka, join in a confederation, which includes a united defense policy to give security and a united foreign policy, as well as the freedom of movement of labor, of goods. That's how Europe has grown strong and secure with this. So can this region. We must encourage and teach these values as we remain in Europe with great pride and show that union is the way forward.